running fans, jumping fans, throwing fans, all around athletics fans. Welcome to Talking in Ovals. I'm Alex Cuesta, partner in crime. Sitting over there is Dave Hyatt. What's going on, my man?
I'm a little under the weather, but when it's game time, you got to step up and keep on going.
That's what I like to hear. There's no excuses. Play like a champion, right?
Absolutely.
I don't even care. Hospital beds. We're live now. We got to start filming. We'll have our significant others.
We have phones, right?
Yeah, we got phones. We're just gonna do it wherever, whenever. Damn it! But how is everything going over there? You feeling a little sick?
A little bit. I think I'm just tired. I had a very long weekend trip with the family, a lot of walking. So I'm trying to get my fat butt back in shape over here. So I'm just sore. I'm old.
Are you guys on spring break over there for Manasquan?
Nope. We starts Friday, so we have this Monday through Thursday this week, and then come Friday we're off.
Up here in New York, spring break where I am in the Hudson Valley is started in earnest this week. Yeah, and then they get off Monday, then everything, and they're back Tuesday.
Well, that's like we get off Friday, and then we're off next week.
Kind of makes sense.
It's always that week prior, week after Easter. It's kind of hit them. Luckily, I have the same spring break as my daughter, so
that works out.
I get some extra time with them, which is nice.
There you go. That is awesome. So before we get into fun stuff, today is Monday, March 25th of 2024 for episode 81. Wow. We are well into the 80s now. So if you like what you hear today, give us a like, share, follow, subscribe, rate 5-star, Spotify, and iTunes. Go spread this word of mouth. We want to thank everyone for watching. If you are watching on X, hello. If you're watching on YouTube, hello. If you're on X, give us a repost. Share this out. Let everyone know that we're on. If you're on YouTube, smash that like button. Hit subscribe. Share this word of mouth. Let's get everyone out there to
send a question in the chat. We are here ready to answer.
Yes. Send the question, whether it's via X or via YouTube. We'll put you up on the screen on the bottom there. We'll answer, and it'll be a good time. So before we jump in, last week's show, we had some fun. It was a marathon, a little bit. We had almost a 2-hour show because Dave and I were yapping in the beginning as we waited on our guest, Capers Williamson, to jump on. He's a pro javelin thrower, Olympic hopeful. And when he came on, he brought the fire.
Oh, it was
fun talking to Capers, extremely passionate, a fantastic athlete, somebody who ranked number 2 in the nation right now, so has a really good chance of making the Olympics. So
he didn't start till college. Yeah. So everyone out there who thinks that it's too late, I didn't do anything in high school. He started in college, and now was second at U.S. Nationals last year. So it's never too late until you're my age. Then it's too late.
I mean, even my age, 35 is pretty hard to get in. If you've been doing a whole lot of nothing, 35 is not an easy time. Past 25, things get harder and harder, right? Like I made the joke to my wife. What age, Dave? What age is it that when falling down becomes scary? Because it just happens random. Like random at one point, like falling down, it's like you get down there and you're just like, am I dead? Okay, next check. Did I break it?
I mean,
like it happens quick.
I'm at the point where sometimes it's scared to just walk.
Just get out of your chair and start walking.
Like, I can't get up.
All right. So we're not going to do the marathon this week because our guest is here. He's hanging out with us. We are excited to continue our Trackstar.me Olympic Dream series. And we're pumped to have on Tanner Berg, professional weight thrower and amateur hammer thrower. Tanner, what's going on, man? How's it going? Yeah, pumped to have you on. So anyone wants to go follow Tanner, you can go on to Berg Throws on IG and at TJBerg99 on X. Go give him a follow. Go give him a support. So we're pumped to have you on, and I just want to jump right into it with you. We always start with the question about your throwing journey. I don't want to hear about when you started yet, but I want to hear about when you got that spark. Because you know what? Some of us, like, people have, started doing track for whatever reason, and it was their secondary thing, but then something clicks. When was that moment for you that something clicked, that you were just like, yeah, I'm probably going to throw for the rest of my life and try and make this a big thing?
It probably had to be my freshman year. So that's when I first learned how to throw the hammer and the weight or whatever. But my first collegiate hammer throw, first legal throw, was our school record.
Wow.
And I was like, oh, well, shit, let's keep doing it.
That's a good
and as time went on, the scholarship
some motivation there
got a little better. Scholarship got bigger, so I was like, this is going to pay for college. So, but then I went on my 5th year, so my COVID senior year, whatever, and won a national championship the D2 national championship in the hammer, and I thought, yeah, I don't really want to grow up yet. Let's keep throwing. And my wife was fully supportive about it. So
That's
That is
that's
huge.
more than half the battle right there.
right,
I mean,
Get the other half on board, and you are good to go.
right. And
I
it's
mean,
actually
if you're,
pretty easy to do too. So
if
So
you're
what
if you're married, that's 95% of the battle.
yeah.
If we're being honest.
What state are you from, and did they have hammer in high school? Because here in New Jersey, it is not it's not an competitive event. So I'm just curious if that's an event that you were just introduced to in college, or was that around at your disposal in high school?
I'm originally from South Dakota, and that's where I went to college as well. And no, we didn't. No
Yeah.
hammer in high school. I mean, I worked with my dad doing construction. That's the only hammer I knew. And then when I went to college, and I actually went on when I went on my recruiting visit, my coach, uh, he handed me the weight throw. It's 35 pounds, and he goes, "Oh, you're gonna throw this thing when you get here." And I was like, "For what? Like, how do you throw that thing?" They go, "No, don't worry about it. We'll teach you." And they did teach me. It took some time, but it
So
wasn't very fun at first.
were you your regular typical shot put disc thrower in high school?
Yeah, yeah. So just shot and disc. Had no need or want to try and throw a javelin. It was like 6'3" and 240. Yeah, nothing too big to throw a javelin.
Well, yeah, I mean, we found out last week, because a lot of people think weights that you guys throw shot, disc, and jab, but jab is its own unique
Yeah,
event where you don't have to be big and strong. It's all about technique and arm speed and keeping your arm back, and it's way different than the other two.
Yeah, they're kind of a weird group. I'd compare them to like the pole vaulters of the world. They're just got this weirdness to them that they're very, very athletic.
Yes.
Pole vaulters and the jab throwers, very, very athletic.
Yeah.
But they don't really quite fit in with all the other events, right?
I mean, I think you could throw
unique individuals.
You could throw steeplechasers in with them. I know steeplechasers are distance guys, but they're a special type of painful type of guys. Want to jump over shit while running distance? Like, what is wrong with you?
Yeah. I mean, running in general, man. I don't.
Hey, relax there. You're with.
I can't remember the last time I ran and enjoyed it.
Me neither.
So here's a question for you. So you're sitting there, you're in school, you get handed this weight. Is there a little bit of an intimidation? Like it's this ball hanging on a chain, and now I'm expected to spin around and not wrap this thing around my body somehow? Like actually know when to throw it, not kill somebody. Was there a little bit like, I'm gonna hurt someone? What are you making me do with this? Like,
no. It was more like, if anybody gets in the way, they're gonna get hurt, and it's not my fault.
I love that.
So smaller D2 school, we had to share our indoor facility with softball and baseball. So it's basically like this big net system hanging from the ceiling. And,
Wow.
we're throwing into nets while they have their batting cages on the other side of the nets. And then there's also like walk spaces between them.
Oh God.
So it was hard.
Very sketchy.
So it was hard to decipher exactly how far you were actually throwing because you were just throwing into the actual net.
Well, yeah, up in South Dakota, winter is 10 months out of the year, pretty much.
Right.
Yeah.
And then in June and July, it's hot as shit.
So
Doesn't make
it's
any
like
sense to me. But
you don't want to be outside at all.
no, I mean, I think my senior year, we had like, in like a 30-day span, we had 20 days under zero.
Wow.
Nice.
I mean, I didn't want to go outside during that.
No.
During that.
It's a little counterproductive then.
It's like something like people will say, like, you kind of get used to things. Did you ever get used to that type of cold, or is it something like that's a lie? You don't get used to it. Like it's always sucks.
Yeah, you do get used to it. But now, I lived there for 22 years of my life. Got used to that. Moved to Kansas, where winter is hardly a thing for like 3 weeks. And so I get pretty pampered. And then it's kind of funny during Thanksgiving this last year, we got maybe like 8 inches of snow and it was cold. And I was like, God, I don't miss this one bit. It's like,
Is it one thing where you start to tell your family, like, "Hey, no, 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 come to Kansas. I don't want to come to South Dakota. Come to
Well,
Kansas. Come do all the holidays here."
it's easier for them to come here because I mean, I got a 1-year-old we got to take back.
See,
Right.
that's a good
It's
reason
way
too.
easier for them to hop in the car than me.
That's a great. Well, how long of a car drive is that?
To where my wife and I are from is about 7.5 hours.
All right.
That's not terrible. It's not bad. That's
Yeah,
probably it's a pain in the
not
ass
too
for
bad.
a 1-year-old. Like a
1-year-old is
1-year-old
tough.
that now becomes a 14-hour ride with the 1-year-old because you got to
Yeah,
stop every like they took a crap, they have to eat, did they throw
I
up? Like yeah,
mean,
no.
we've been
Entertain.
experimenting. We've been experimenting, like driving at night, waking up early in the morning, driving in there. You know, try and get her right after she eats. Maybe she'll take a nap.
You'll
Nothing,
experience a
nothing like
lot as it progresses, and
And
you,
what
you will try
works
so many things. Yeah.
and what works for a little bit will stop working as they hit another phase. Like you'll
Yep.
be like, "Oh, we got it." Then all of a sudden you'll do something and you'll be like, "Well, that was the most miserable ride of my life."
No kidding.
Or and what
We're,
works for one might not work for the other if
yeah,
that's in your plans, down the
yeah.
Yeah,
future.
100%. So yeah, the track and field show became the parenting show. Any future
There we go, guys.
parents out there, or
It
is there
happens.
any
It
parents
happens.
that want to chime in to say we're any give any advice over here?
You can ask 3 girl dads whatever you want.
Yes, yes, or
Yeah.
you can give advice if you are an elder statesman and want to pass on some wisdom. We would appreciate that as well. So let's jump back into the track side. So, what have been your best memories of being, you don't even have to go with just hammer and weight, just being a thrower in general, even going back into high school with shot and disc and things like that. What have been
Yeah.
some of your favorite memories of being a thrower?
Kind of just like starting it all. Like it's kind of funny. I tell that story to a lot of people. It's like what got me into track is my mom threatening me to get a job or go out for track.
That'll
And I
do
said,
it.
"No, I don't want to work." It's
So
still the
now
same
mom,
thing today. I don't want to work either. I just want to throw.
so now mom like has no choice but to support you in the Olympic dream because
Yeah, no
she's
kidding.
smart.
She's the one that made me do it.
Yes,
Like, Mom, this is all your fault.
So I ended up. So I started my junior year. She with that threat, and went. Junior year was okay. Placed like 7th in state with like a 50-foot throw. It was okay. South Dakota's not the biggest state in the world.
Yeah.
But my senior year, I ended up winning the shot put and then going on to college. So like winning a state title was really fun. It's a good memory.
Definitely.
And then like setting all the records in college was really fun as well. Like I set our weight record as a freshman, my second ever meet. We set our hammer record as a freshman, our first ever hammer throw in a meet.
That's awesome.
I did break our shot put record. I was not a fantastic college shot putter, but I did break that record my senior year of college, which was a 56-year-old record.
Were you kind of
Wow.
chasing that too? Like you already had hammer, you had weight. Like I want that damn record. I want that to be mine.
Yeah, I always knew it was pretty like, I mean, it wasn't a crazy record. It was like 57 feet or something. And
With the 16-pound ball, I know. Listen, we
listen.
talked to freaks that throw like 60 plus. But with the 16-pound ball, that is throwing it really far.
yeah, so
Yeah.
I mean, I did that my senior year, and then my 5th year was just not great. I didn't really care about the shot put. I was like, I have a really good chance of winning a national championship in the weight throw,
Yeah.
which I got second, so I came up a little short. But then I was like, we got to outdoor, and then I picked up the disc as well, that training. But it's kind of funny that I hardly trained the shot and the disc. It was more hammer. It was like hammer 3 days a week, and then a pre-meet day where I'd take like 10 throws in the shot, and the discus training was just so ridiculously dumb.
Did you actually spin or did you just stand
Yeah,
there and deliver?
no, I did. I threw like 162.
It's pretty impressive
Um,
for
Yeah.
just not caring.
I mean, I liked the discus because it was like different from the hammer.
Yeah.
I was like, this is a fun one. It's not really heavy. It's not like really taxing on the body like the hammer and the weight. in the
So
shop,
what
but
are
it
so
didn't
you're
hurt my
explaining
wrist
a
like the
little, yeah,
shot put
what
did.
are the differences between, for someone that's watching, like a throw is a throw is a throw is a throw, right? The ignorant eye does not see the differences. So what are the major differences between the disc? Obviously, you're not holding something with a chain and a ball, like you're kind of cupping it between like your forearm and everything. But what are like
Yeah.
some of the differences there?
I mean, so it depends on if you're like spinning in the shot put. So the spin and the shot put and the discus are similar. I'm not going to call them the same because they're not. Smaller circles, different weight, and the shot put is here, pretty center body. Discus weight is out away from the body. Um, it's taken me a little bit to kind of learn how to coach them differently,
Right.
because they're different events.
Yeah.
But I try and throw them together.
And I would guess that
Couple
the
things you do
difference.
the same.
I would guess that the difference with the hammer is that obviously you're using two hands, so you kind of spin a little differently than you would if you're just using one. I mean, again, I'm not versed in the weights by any stretch. I love watching them because I'm fascinated by them. But
Yeah.
so not all spins are the same, obviously. Like you can't just go out there and say, "Oh, I could spin in the shot, then I can go throw the hammer." I assume there's a
Oh,
lot of
no,
little things
not
that are
even
much
close.
different in the right.
It's like comparing apples to like a car or something.
Right.
Not even close.
Right.
They're,
So
you can be strong in both, but
Right.
shot put and discus, you want like a separation between your hips and shoulders, builds tension in your core. So kind of like a rubber band effect, which can put power into the ball.
Yep.
Hammer, exact opposite. You want your shoulders and your hips to stay together the whole time. Separation creates a break in tension with the ball, so then it's not very smooth, and like you're not getting power to the ball out of that. We can go on for hours about how to throw the hammer,
I mean,
but
listen, I
would
like
Hey,
really
listen,
not-
I'm just pumped that this is the second person that we've had on who calls it a ball on the professional
shot,
level.
yeah.
Because I'm always when I'm coaching, it's a shot put, it's not a ball. But now that you guys have called it, I am so feel free now to call it, pick up the ball and throw it far. Like if you guys can call it that and that's cool on the pro level, then I'm all for it.
Yeah,
Well, I mean, it is a ball. Like
we call it a couple different
It is a
things.
spherical object, yes.
It is a ball.
There's things like I'm watched the hammer and like the weight, and just like now being an old guy and like knowing that bending over could throw my back out. There has to be so much strain on just every muscle from the top of your back to your lower back as that thing is like going in a motion.
Not if you do it right.
Not if you do it
Right.
right. Okay. So
People that get hurt doing it are usually doing it wrong.
Okay.
That's like so it's like the weight throw. Big
Mhm.
saying on Instagram and the throwing world is grip and rip. So like you really just try and hold on to it as hard as you can and throw it as hard as you can with your upper body. And a lot of times your shoulders will start turning where your hips don't. So you're like this and your hips are
Right.
going that way.
Yeah, that could
And
be a
then,
recipe for
and then your
disaster.
back is fucked up,
Yeah,
right?
yeah, absolutely.
I did that one time in college when I was a freshman, and I said to myself, "Don't ever do it ever again," because it hurt a lot.
Yeah, yeah.
So I tried my hardest to really try and do it the correct way.
So you want to keep your hips and shoulders aligned at all times,
Yeah,
right?
yeah, pretty much. Yeah, keep them together, keep them on top of each other, and should be mostly fine.
There was a reason why I was never a thrower. Like, I don't think I could have that amount of weight spinning around and keeping it myself in line. Like, I would like those like Looney Tunes where Bugs Bunny just like spins around 7,000 times, becoming like a spring. I would become that in an absolute heartbeat.
See, I was like 5'6" and like 105 pounds, so that it kind of threw like they could have thrown me.
Couldn't have picked it up.
Oh, probably not.
Well, I tell you, when I first was shown how to throw it, I was like, "Hey, ain't no way!" Like, I know this motion and that motion.
Right.
Don't teach me anything else because I don't want to do it. And then we had a volunteer hammer coach, and she coached me for 5 years, and she's the one that told me to, gave me the blessing to go move away and be a professional. But she showed me how to do it, taught me everything I mean, pretty much from the start of it. And
So
she's like, "You do it the right way. Don't do it the wrong way. You're gonna hurt yourself." And I was like, "Oh."
absolutely.
So, well,
So
instead of hurt yourself doing it the right way or something, they go, well,
right.
they're
They're
may
not.
not be as special or something.
So can you enlighten us and our audience the main difference between the weight throw and the hammer? I know obviously the weight throw is heavier, and
Heavier
it's
and shorter.
shorter, right? So is there a different technique? Is it the same spin, or do you have to like pretty much focus on each one during each season?
It's pretty much the same spin,
Yeah,
same turns. Obviously, shorter, heavier implement is gonna kind of create quicker turns if you want to look
right,
at it that way.
right.
You don't have the
Something
time
dragging,
for the
right,
ball to come through the axis, right? It's just a
Yep.
shorter ball. Um, when I was in college, we never trained the hammer during the weight throw, and that was kind of a big mistake. People that do throw the weight really far train the hammer at
right.
the same time, and they try to throw. I mean, the big saying is you can throw the weight like the hammer, but you can't throw the hammer like the weight. And I mean, it's very true. I've tried.
So how much different? Like, is it a notice? Like when you're throwing both, do you definitely notice the weight difference in the weight throw versus the hammer? Like, or does the length of the chain kind of make it feel a little same, like when you're spinning?
Probably like the first maybe one or two sessions when we get into the indoor season with the weight throw. Like I didn't throw it very much this year. It was, maybe 15 throws a week, with the weight compared to the 140 we take with the hammer.
Wow.
Um,
Is that all because of the weight difference?
yeah, and training the weight, like you really don't need to. Like if you train it like you train the hammer, if you throw the weight like you throw the hammer, you're probably going to be just fine. Um, Sorry, my daughter's crying in the background.
We
Not
are
a
But
a
problem.
child-friendly show here. Do not
trying to
worry.
think if she's okay down there with my wife. She should be, but
If you need to run out there, we could always stall. Don't you worry.
Yeah.
It's the perfect time to put that up. If
um,
you have any questions for Tanner, drop it in the chat. When he gets back, he'll answer them.
I think she's okay. um, so we're talking about, okay, yeah, the training, right?
Yep.
So when I was in college, we trained, and this was just kind of my coach's thoughts. Like, and same here. Like, I didn't know a whole lot behind the training. I kind
Yep.
of just went with what they did, and they're like, well, to be better at something, you got to do it more often, right?
Yeah.
Definitely.
And now that I've known that, that might not be the same, that might not be the right thing, because we definitely felt the aches and pains of throwing the weight 50 times a week.
Yeah.
I've
Sounds like
passed
a
on
lot.
the knowledge to them, saying, "Yeah, maybe don't do that." Like, and I mean, the last 2 years, they've gotten quite a bit better, back home. So I think that little tip worked out.
Definitely
So
seems to have.
let's talk about your post collegiate journey. Because now you're over at K State as a volunteer
Yeah.
coach. How did that all transpire? How did you get from South Dakota to now training and being a volunteer coach at K State? How did that whole situation take place?
Yeah. So one of my high school coaches, who's volunteer high school coach or whatever, his son coached at K State, so he knew the throws coach here pretty well. And so after I had won a national championship, I was like kind of in my head, like, kind of wondering if maybe I should keep throwing or what. I didn't feel like I was ready to stop. But he texted me one day and he's like, hey, if you're wanting to keep throwing, reach out to Coach Watson down at K State. He's a great hammer coach, a great person in general. So I sent out a couple emails and we went back and forth, had a couple conversations, and he was like, usually don't take post collegiate throwers, but I do need a volunteer coach. So if you'd be willing to come and, help me out, I'll help you out by coaching you. And so going on my second year here now, I've, enjoyed it for, 2 years, almost 2 years. It's pretty,
So
I like it down here. It's
that's
nice.
awesome.
We have really great facilities. We just have this new indoor facility, which, I mean, where we throw the hammer in this indoor facility is probably one of the best setups in the nation, maybe even the world. I don't know. For sure in the nation.
That's awesome.
That's great.
So how do you find time to coach and train? Is that something that has to be like specifically planned out, or do you just kind of like coach and then train when you can, or like does one of them take up more time, or are they pretty much evenly
Um,
distributed?
they both take up a good amount of time. So we train hammer in the morning with the hammer crew, the other hammer throwers. So there's me, there's Justin, there's another post collegiate guy that competed for Coach Watson when he was at LSU. His name's John Nerdahl. And so it's like us three, and then the KSU hammer throwers. So we train that in the morning, and then we lift right after we throw. And the college hammer throwers lift at like 4 every day. So we train in the morning, lift in the morning, go home, eat, come back around like 1 to help coach shot and disc and everything, and then coach lifting at 4 and whatever, stay till 6. So it does take up a lot of the day, but we have a good break in between, maybe like 2-hour break in between to eat lunch and watch Netflix or something.
That just sounds, it sounds tough. And it sounds like we talk all the time. Like, you're a pro. You're one of the best throwers in the country. The fact that you have to like scrape by, volunteer coach, hopefully find
Yeah.
be lucky enough that you have a good coach, a great individual. K-State's willing to take you on. Like,
Right.
this should not have to be your life as one of the best throwers in the country. And just hearing your story, like the grind is amazing. And anyone listening right now that may be a young athlete, like take notes on a bunch of the athletes we've had on the trackstar.me Olympic Dream Series and individuals like Tanner who, and kudos to your wife for
Yeah.
letting you grind and working your ass off and chasing your dreams because it's a lot. It is a lot. So has there been tough moments where you're there and you're just like, man, I know you said you don't want to get to work, but like moments where you're saying like, man, what am I doing? Like, should I just go to work? Like, what's going on here? Like, are there some moments where you get down and then you got to pick yourself back up, or are you just full send focus, get to the Olympics, make some money, be the best in the world?
It's like half and half. I mean, like I do work. Like I am a bartender part time.
Figured you
So like
did.
I do work. I do get paid to work 3 days a week.
There you go.
So I mean that does help. I also have 2 sponsorships from back home.
Love it.
A bank that we've been with for over 15 years, and then a beef company that my neighbor owns.
Nice.
So I get some beef from them. The bank gave me they gave me like a little 2-year contract. They gave me a certain amount for 2 years, and if it wasn't for them, like this, I don't know if I would be still in Kansas right now. For what they've given me is, that's paid for, basically every trip I took last year was paid for by them.
Wow.
And this year as well, along with prize money from indoors last year and prize money from indoor this year.
And that beef deal was no small thing, considering the price of meat and being thrown. I'm not even kidding though, because you want
see the ribeyes I'm getting,
and you want to go through protein, like you want to have a lot of protein, especially with lifting and things like that.
Yeah.
And the fact that you're like, I imagine every once in a while you still have to go to the supermarket, get some different cuts.
We
For
do,
the most part, you have a bunch of meat coming to you on a consistent basis that you can eat. Like that is what you're saving hundreds, if not thousands of dollars a year. Like it really is bad out here.
Yeah, we don't get like a bunch of beef. We get a box every month that has anywhere from like, I think, once or twice a month. I think the last box I got was 4 ribeyes, 4 T-bones, and like 10 pounds ground beef.
That's awesome.
And the
Can you
ribeyes, I mean, the
that
ribeyes are big as my hand.
Oh,
Nice.
send me some. I want
They're great. And then another good thing is my wife's dad is a cattle farmer, so he also gives us some beef every
That's
now and then.
amazing.
So
You got a
we are
hookup.
saving money on buying.
Tanner is well fed.
Yes.
I'm 285 pounds. I am well fed.
So this is a good way to transition into our spiel with our sponsors real quick because we don't have any yet. But if you would like to sponsor us, we have our stipulation. We'll be happy to take your sponsorship money, but you also have to sponsor an athlete that we've had on the show that does not have any sponsors or that doesn't have, a lucrative one. So Tanner, you would be someone that if we got someone who's like, hey, we want to throw a bunch of money at you, we'd be like, hey, throw a bunch of money at Tanner too. Like, because we are trying to get you guys.
Yeah.
There's too many talented individuals that don't have any sponsorship money or very, light sponsorship money that, you guys should be getting taken care of. So yes, if you're interested in being a sponsor, we'd be happy to talk to you, but just be prepared to take care of one of our former athletes on the show that we've had.
Yeah, of course. So would you be able to do what you're doing if it wasn't for the volunteer coaching at K-State? Like being able to use their facilities and their weight room. I mean, those are things that as a pro, I would imagine you'd have to contract out, right? You'd have to get a coach. You'd have to find somewhere to work out. Like the fact that you're there really sounds like it's very beneficial for where you are right now in your career.
I'd say probably not. Like, I don't think Coach Watson would have us here training if we weren't also helping him out. Like, I want to say yes, he's a great person. He is. He's amazing.
I'd imagine insurance
for me, what he's done for Justin, what he's done for all these college athletes, he is really good.
I'd imagine insurance-wise, it's easier to be like, hey, you guys can come throw these heavy things at risk of injury while being a coach. Like that's got to be the school would probably prefer that as well as a setup.
Yeah, and it's another thing is like I was saying, he's a great guy. But I would think that maybe he wouldn't want us here if we weren't.
Right.
We'd be like taking time away from him.
You break freeloaders
in his life, right? So he's like, you guys have to give me something in return, which
of course
I fully understand. I would do the same thing if I was him.
A good old barter system.
Yeah, I think it's great. So, what are your being an Olympic year? What are your goals and what are you like? Are you doing anything different?
Hold on. Before we get to that,
we're gonna wait.
Ask the golden question: how the hell are you pro in weight?
Yes,
but not pro in hammer.
Yeah, how does one become pro in one and amateur in?
I didn't want to get to the aspirations before we find out.
Oh, absolutely.
Well, I mean, the simple answer is money, right? I've made money throwing the weight. I've not made money throwing the hammer.
That is very.
So I got eighth. I got eighth at USA's last year, and they only pay top 7.
Oh
so God. I made the final, got my 6 throws, but I didn't get any money.
See, that's part of my French. That's fucking embarrassing. If you make a final, you should get paid. Like
it is.
That is a joke.
But he's got beef.
He's got beef.
I do got beef. I got beef with everybody. Shit. Doesn't matter who you are.
Except for Justin. Or do you fight Justin at practice?
So I probably wouldn't be a good look for that.
Are there any?
So it's only money, right? Oh, that's the only reason why, because you haven't placed high enough or whatever in the hammer. So it's that close to being pro and amateur. Like it sounds like it's kind of like semantics.
I mean, that's how Coach Watson explained it. He's like, you can't call yourself a pro unless you've made money doing it.
I mean, that makes sense.
Which is a very good goal too, though. I mean, like that'll keep you hungry.
But you're a pro thrower. Like you could just say I am a pro thrower. Like you don't have to
together call it a pro thrower. Yeah.
So is there any benefit or extra benefit that comes with being a pro, like having that label, or is it just something where it's just you made money doing it?
I guess it depends on who you're talking to. If you're like trying to talk to a company that's you're trying to get some money from, you're like, hey, I'm a professional hammer thrower.
Right.
Got 7th at USA's. I didn't do that, but this year, hopefully, higher than 7, higher than 8 for sure. But that does help. Like, some people might not have that thought of, oh, they didn't make any money, they're not a pro. I would have to say that if you're going to like these big meets, like
pro meets,
like this, like on the World Athletic Continental Tour meets, right? If you're getting into those, you should be considered a pro thrower.
Especially because like anyone could try to get to those meets, but they'll look at your marks and be like, "Yeah, no, you're not coming." But someone that they look at your marks and they're like, "Absolutely, we'd love to have you." Like that.
If you're getting into a meet based off of what you've
performance,
you should be able to call yourself that.
I 100%.
Now it has to be a high enough mark. If they said, "Oh, here's a 62-meter line," anybody that's thrown over 62 in the hammer can do that. 62 is an okay throw, not for a wannabe professional. It's kind of dog shit. But
well, I feel like that could be like, this is where, me and Dave have talked. We talked last week about Michael Johnson's league, about how it seems like he may want to make a line of demarcation of only pros being in his league. And that could be a good way of separating it. Have you participated in Michael Johnson's league yet? He only has pros. If you're invited to his league, you're a pro. If not, good luck. Like, I guess, because, obviously the individuals at the Diamond League are pros. Like, they're not going to say they're not pros, whether or not they win or not. Being invited there is incredible.
I'm curious. I've had high school kids run at some Diamond League meets, especially the Prefontaine Classic,
But they have their own division most of the time. Sometimes they'll run against the pros, but most of the time they have their own high school mile.
Depends on, I remember like Alan Webb running pro mile, ran at 3:53,
Yeah. You have them in there, but like I said, I'm curious with the way Michael Johnson's thing works. And so I'm wondering with like the ATL league, did you ever consider going over to the American Track League and competing over there when they were, are they still doing? I don't know if the ATL is still going on. I think
they're still around.
I think they're still doing it.
That was when I was still in college, so I didn't even really look into that. And I don't think they really did much with the hammer throw.
No, I think it was more track stuff, I think.
Yeah. I know they had like a couple of shot put competitions, but
and some pole vault too, I think.
There was one last year that was trying to start up as like TFL or something. Or
I didn't even hear about it. And this is the thing too.
It was way too good to be true. They were talking like you could get paid money to show up to these meets. You get paid money to place top 5 at these meets.
Oh, you mean like a professional meet where professionals get paid to be professionals?
Here it is.
Yeah, exactly. But
TFL Pro Track and Field League.
Is it still a thing?
No,
I don't think so.
They would have to.
It had teams though, like it had teams from like different regions. There was
I think there was eight teams. Maybe.
There was a draft, so it's a cool concept.
Yeah,
it just didn't take off. But
so
like
they
it
actually
has a draft and teams, and
they did the whole draft and everything, and then they're like, okay, well, we're still working on information for meets. But they had like coaches for the teams, they had the draft for the teams, and they had these like outrageous number like for money.
Here it is. Here it says $4,000 appearance fee.
Where did you find this? What's the website? We can get it up here. Where is that?
TFLpro.us. It's got $4,000 of appearance, $5,000 first place, $3,000 second, $1,000 third, and $1,000 if your team wins.
So
then in the semifinals,
you can go to a meet and make $10,000.
You can make $10,000 if you just appear in the finals, and another $10,000.
This is what you're talking about right here. Is this what it was?
Yes.
Yeah.
So they had the Alabama Freedom, Illinois Justice, Virginia, Kentucky. I mean, keep it warm. I understand that. So is this needs to be a thing? What the hell? I want this.
This is the first that I've
go to
2021. Okay.
Look at draft.
Here's a draft.
I think I got drafted in like the 4th round or something.
Did you? Hillary Bohr's there.
Yeah.
Mike Rogers is there. Will London. There's some names here too. So you got drafted in the 4th round. Let's see if we can get
the third or fourth.
Third. Let's see. So is this something where like, do you have an agent for this, and do they call you and let you know, or did you just get a phone call?
No, they put us all on an email and were like, hey, you guys should sign up for this. And I did talk with like when after you got drafted, whatever. You did get to talk with the coach of the team. But like there's one part of that website that says, well, I mean, you were going over like the prize money and the appearance stuff.
Yeah.
Like, you can just if you go to a meet and win, right? They pay for your travel.
Yeah.
They give you that $4,000 appearance fee. bonus if your team wins, bonus if you get first place or whatever. It was like 12 grand.
Yeah,
right
no,
there.
yeah. I saw it earlier. It was under
Where was it under?
maybe athletes.
It might be under athlete.
Yeah,
The athlete obligation, do code,
I mean,
minimum
but
2 weeks.
I'll give you guys one guess as to why that didn't work out.
because the money wasn't actually there.
Oh, bingo.
So regular
I think
season, like this is a
they go for
great
like $100
idea.
million.
Yeah, like we've actually talked about some of these things.
Something
I-
exactly like this.
You know what though? But it's a shame that you and I, who follow track, didn't even hear this. I mean, and maybe that's my
Maybe
fault.
that's why.
Maybe I didn't look deep enough, but I shouldn't have to. If there was any new league in any other sport coming out, we would know about it.
So I would love. We got to
Hear
look.
about
Kevin M.
Texas
Steffen,
already.
if you are Kevin M. Steffen, if you're available, let's jump on. I would love to talk to you because this is a great idea, and I wish we could figure out a way to get this going.
Yeah.
Because this is an awesome idea, and this is something
It
that would
would-
be great.
It would work out great if they had like the lower payouts, right? So like they don't need to pay you $12,000
Right.
to go to one meet, right?
Yeah.
They could be like, hey, we'll pay for your travel. And then if you get first, here's $500, $1,000.
Yeah.
Whatever.
It's under
And then
athletes.
another-
The
right.
breakdown
Scale back,
of pay.
scale back those pays. Scale back those pays. Have more meets, and like
Well,
make
what
it
if
to
they
where
even like say you got
affordable.
drafted, and coach talks to you, and there's like a GM or someone in the league and says, "Hey, we're going to sign you to this contract. You need to show up to X amount of meets this season." Like,
And that's what it was too. Like
Like
they
they
did have
want a contract and pay you there.
they did want you to show up to, like, I think it was like the main kind of call. They were like, hey, these are the dates, we have planned. Make sure you're free. Like we need you guys here. You guys are a part of this. We really don't want you to not show up to this.
And I feel like it would have been better if like they had like a contract structure per round instead of all like the payout money.
Right.
Like whatever round you got drafted in, this is the contract. So first round here, we're going to give you guys $20K to be here. Second round,
And there was a bonus. There was draft bonuses, whatever round you got drafted in.
This draft was back in 2021. Look, Eric Holt got drafted 34th overall.
Yeah. I mean, that would be, but that's the type of league that we need. It's a non-diamond league, but you're all pros. You're all fantastic athletes. You're all Olympic hopefuls. Like everyone on that list is in the vying or wanting to get to the Olympics, and some have been,
like
if
like USATF, kind of got something on like that, or like whoever was trying to do the TFL stuff, got with one of the big track companies. They're like, hey, listen, you guys want to have track like they do in Europe, in the US. These companies are like, oh, we're making money off of Europe, so I don't know.
Right.
I mean, and the thing is too, like
this was back in 2021.
Yeah, it's been a little bit, and I wonder how much
That's COVID.
I wonder how much like post-COVID stuff did to it too, and things like that, right in the middle of it. Like, and if that hurt the funding, if they had something there, and it was like, hey, we can't do this anymore.
I'm sure it didn't help.
No.
It might have screwed up because they who knows if they were telling the truth on all that stuff, but they said they had somebody that was.
I feel like there's been a lot. I feel like there's been a lot of leagues that have tried to start, and there's some hype, and then it just, for whatever happens, it just never comes to fruition. That's why I'm hoping that Michael Johnson, because he has cachet, he has money, he has really good partners in this, that hopefully this whole thing can kind of take off, and we can get some sort of pro league where you guys can have great competition here in the States and not have to travel. Because for someone like yourself, it might not even be possible to go to Europe. It's so much money.
Yeah. It's crazy. I mean, like,
no, it's not.
Justin and Justin reached out to, I don't know, 1,000 of people. It's kind of fun I don't know if he brought it up, but when he first got to Kansas, his main focus was finding funding for this season, whatever. And he was like, he was really trying not to get a job, I think. I did start DoorDash.
Yeah, everyone's dream.
Yeah. You know what though? But I don't blame him. You guys are pro throwers. You shouldn't have to get another damn job.
100%.
You should be able to focus on that. That is your job.
We're among the 8 best hammer throwers in the country. I know to some people that doesn't mean shit, but to us it means something.
I mean, to tracking nerds like us, it means a lot. Like,
Yeah.
we are like, it might not, it's weird, but like, we are privileged to have you on. You are one of the best athletes in the country. Like,
100%.
there's like bar none. You're one of the best athletes in the country, and you're sitting here talking like, yeah, I got to bartend
Dude,
3 days a week. I got to beg
like,
for sponsorships. Like, it's nonsense. It's
like I just worked a 6-hour shift yesterday. Sorry.
and I hope
Yeah,
one
listen.
of the things that we get across, like through the series that we're doing and through the things that we do here, is the absurdity of professional athletes having to go through what you guys go through. Because I think like the one main running theme that we have had with having everyone with the trackstar.me Olympic Dream series is the absurdity of it all. That, you know, some of you guys, like, you're trying to feed a family, and that's not easy to do when you're working a regular 9 to 5, right? And but you're here trying to chase your dreams, and it's not easy. So real quick, before we jump anything else, going to give this a plug. We talked about a little bit the Olympic Dreams Give Send Go. It's the series, it's the Give Send Go that Tanner is a part of, that, you know, Capers we had last week. We had Jordan on, you know, www. What's up?
Justin Stafford, not a Jordan.
Jordan, yeah, not Jordan guy. Sorry, Justin Stafford. I'm mixing up my throwers now. But www.givesendgo.com/GBKDF. Like I said last week with Capers, I don't care how much you can donate. Give something. If you are a fan of running, if you're a fan of pros, if you want to see these individuals that you're hearing succeed, be able to go places, go to new meets, go do great things, give anything you can. Just give something, because they deserve it. They're pros, damn it. They deserve it. So, Tanner, anything you want to say on that note about the Give Send Go and anything like that?
I think you got it covered.
There you go.
You know, I just really appreciate anybody that does send anything, you know.
Yeah,
Every
definitely.
bit helps.
Absolutely.
100%. So we want to, so
I mean, it's just a little bit to upgrade a seat, you know, on the airplane.
Listen,
there you go.
Exit
Go
row.
big guy like you needs that bigger seat, you know.
That exit row is great.
Absolutely.
I did when I went to indoors this year to Albuquerque. I did get upgraded to a first class seat
Hey,
from Manhattan to Dallas. Sadly, it's a 40-minute flight, but
Hey, it was a great 40 minutes. It was a great 40 minutes.
You can stretch your legs out.
It was wide. It was great.
That is fantastic. So back to what Dave said early on with his question. I'm going to steal.
Yeah, I jumped the gun there.
But yeah, no, that's fine. So right now, obviously, the goal is to get to Paris 2024, right? That is eyes on the prize, become a part of the Olympic team. Past Paris, what is your goal?
I do want to throw for as long as I feel like I can be competitive, right? You know, if I get through this year and I'm just like, oh man, I just don't know how much more I could do. If I felt like I did everything I could and nothing really went the way I thought it should have,
yeah,
who knows? In the future, so I went to college not really knowing what I wanted to do, but I got a degree. I kind of wanted to be a strength conditioning coach, and I did 2 internships, and I was like, Unfortunately, this was after I graduated.
Okay.
I was like, I don't really fucking like this very much. Waking up at 4:30 to yell at kids about their squad depth.
Yeah, you got to be in there before they are and have the plan. Have each team with their own. It's a lot. So
I really didn't know what I wanted to do, and then when I came down here, started coaching and stuff, and I was like, I don't mind it. Like, it's pretty fun to do all this. And I kind of talked with Coach Watson about it, and he's like, yeah, something you get into, something if you want to get into, I could certainly help you get there, like as long as you care about it and want to do it. So I think that is kind of the goal at some point, is to be a throws coach at a, hopefully at a D1 program, because that's where the money's at. But it's not all about money, right?
So can we get you to stay poor and start a professional throwing team? Because I think that would go so far for athletes like
stay poor.
For athletes like you,
there's words of encouragement.
But for athletes like you who are sitting there, and it's like that you don't. Yeah, it's easy for me, right? That so you don't have to go to a college, right? So that there is a place that it's like, okay. And I know, I think Justin said that there's pockets, right? There are some throwing professional throwing like teams and pockets around the country. But it's like I feel like we need more, and I feel like it would be such a good thing for someone like yourself who has coaching experience now, is learning from a fantastic coach, throwing coach, to sit there and be like, hey, I was professional. I was X in the country. Like, if you're coming out of college, you want to be a pro, come work with me. And again, it will be a grind because we would need people to sit there and support you and, allow you to use facilities and
Yeah.
things like that. I feel like
Well,
we
yeah,
need more of
that's
that.
the big thing is the whole facilities thing. Like
100%.
facilities and implements, like that's not cheap.
I mean,
my coaching's
just the
cheap.
price-
I'm not a great coach, but
Yeah.
just the price of a hammer cage is immense.
oh, the like cheap ones are like $40,000.
All right, cheap, right?
The cheap shitty ones are
Right,
$40,000.
are still 40 grand, which is a ton of money.
Yeah,
I wonder what that facility, the Z Athlete Village in Vegas, if they would like let pro teams go and like work out there. Like if there were like pro teams that could be there. Because did you hear about that? The Z Athlete Village in Vegas. It's an indoor facility that has a 400-meter indoor track with a 200-meter indoor track in between it that's banked.
On the infield.
Also, full field facilities around and everything like that. And it's supposed to be like this mega indoor project. Now we're working on, I've had to email things. We're trying to get somebody to come on from there to talk to us about it. But it seems like something that would be really cool to sit there and like try and market. Like, hey, you have this whole thing going on. Why don't we have some pro sports teams come out of here? It's all track. Like, let's do this.
Could you guys give me a second? I'm gonna go check.
Yeah.
On.
Yeah. No. Yo, go ahead and check on it. We'll talk.
Of course, man.
So Tanner had to jump out for a second, but man, we harp on it all the time. But I'm gonna throw it up again. The give, send, go.
Yeah.
I'm not begging people.
No.
If you could do what you got to do, and anybody that's watching right now, thank you so much for watching. We appreciate you all. Send some questions for Tanner when he comes back and things like that. But please, if you can, $5, $10. I mean, it's not for us. It's not going to me and Dave. We have no stake in this at all. This is going towards every athlete that you have seen a part of this series. And, they are fantastic athletes. They're awesome people.
It's their chance. Their chance to be able to shine and give themselves the best opportunity to do that, as pro athletes from other countries certainly have the capability of fulfilling their dreams. Our athletes here too. And be able to have that same goal.
And one of the things that I just want anyone watching to take away from, like the commonality between Justin, between Capers, between Tanner, is they're doing this because they love it. They're doing this because, not only are they extremely talented at it, but in order, especially like we talk to runners and stuff, and runners, it's hard, but it's so much easier for runners to grab a sponsor. It is not, it's a lot easier. Talk to Eric Holt about that. He'd probably want to kick me in the face.
Yeah.
But it is, there are more out there for runners than there is for throwers. So in order to be a thrower, doing it the way, Tanner, Capers, Jordan, and you'll hear from some more that are here, definitely go out. Please, support them because they deserve it. Tanner's back. All well?
No, she is not having fun down there.
Imagine. So here's the thing. We'll talk a little bit more. We'll let you go fairly soon so that you don't get in trouble.
She's got ear infection and croup, whatever that is.
Croup sucks. Listen, the worst part about croup is that cough sounds like they are about to like hawk up a lung, but there's like nothing you could do about it.
Right. Yeah. I feel like it's like strep throat for us.
It's almost harder on the parents.
Oh, it is.
In a sense.
She was coughing a bunch earlier, and I was like, just need to drink something, but she's one. She doesn't really understand that.
And that doesn't actually do.
You might not want milk.
Yeah.
Yeah. And there's no cough medicine for a 1-year-old.
No.
It all starts at like 6 and up. It's like it. So yeah, you just kind of got to tough that out. So we talked a little bit about your aspirations. You want to be a pro. We talked about the Athlete Village a little bit. So you want to stay in the sport. You want to coach. Is it something like you got a taste for it now and you just enjoy it? And are you trying to pick Coach Watson's brain now more and more about throwing and coaching and watching him to try and get yourself ready for that level?
Yeah. I mean, I'm with him every day in the afternoons for shot and disc. And the amount I've learned in the last year and a half, 2 years is insane. Like I always thought I knew a lot about throwing from college, but now I didn't realize I didn't know anything.
You know, and also
Like I could
when
probably throw further now than I could in college, and like the shot and disc, and I have not trained
right.
him at all.
Well, and you know, like you're also realizing that coaching is not just how much you know; it's how can you relay that information to the athletes,
Yeah,
and you
yeah,
have to learn like that. Not that one technique might not work with every athlete, and you have to kind of get to know everybody and mold yourself into different types of coaches for different types of
yeah.
athletes.
And I feel like the good thing now, like with me still like pretty much fresh out of college, like doing all that and still throwing is I can explain it a little differently
Yeah.
um, to like the athlete mind, you know. Coach Watson, yes, he knows everything. He knows. Well, I mean, he knows what he's coaching, and what he's saying is right.
Right.
But like the way I understand it, what he's saying is like maybe sometimes that'll help the athlete a little
Yeah.
better.
Yeah. But
Like
but he also probably coaches you guys in his pro group differently than he coaches his collegiate kids.
yeah, I'd
You
say.
know.
I mean, I'd say it's pretty similar, but I mean, there is a couple differences, especially for the newer, like the freshmen and sophomores that come in that
So my question for
haven't
you
thrown the hammer.
with the freshmen and sophomores, how many of them have you gotten some of the really good high school kids that you have to break? Yeah. Like some of the ones that come in, think they know their shit, like they were good, they maybe won state or placed in state, and they're awesome. And you're sitting there and you watch their form and you're just like, yeah, no.
Like
I didn't
settle
even
down.
like, and then they're saying they're trying to like, no, but I did this, coach it. Like, no, no, no. You're
Yeah,
in state now, you're a division
um,
one, like major
haven't
program, like
haven't had that happen yet.
That's good.
it'll
So
happen.
we do like obviously we do try and recruit kids that threw the hammer and the javelin along with the shot and disc in high school. But I feel like it's hard to do that because like hammer's not a big thing in high
No,
school.
no.
Like there's club sports that do it, and like there's multiple states that throw the javelin and stuff. But
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, like I was saying earlier, they're different athletes.
Can
Yes,
I
you see
completely.
I
can
don't
you
go
It's
through
almost like
that.
a completely different event. Like it should have
Yeah.
its own little
I mean, you
category.
go look at like hammer training, shot put training, discus training. That's like strength training
similar?
is
They're
important in all
similar.
those,
There's some
right?
different intricacies, but they're similar.
But you go look at like how some of these javelin throwers are trained is like it's almost like CrossFit mixed with
Right.
like throwing weighted
It's completely
tennis
different.
balls and baseballs, and I mean it's just way different than anything than the other three throwing events.
So
Right.
can you watch a freshman come in and throw a shot and disc and just look at them and be like, you're gonna throw the hammer? Like similar to the way your coach just put the weight in your hand and was like, this is what you're doing. Like, do you see that? Like you'll see an athlete throw it and be like, so you're not gonna throw the shot in college, we're gonna put a weight in your hand. Like, can you see that or
Uh,
do they have to show you interest?
I think we definitely try and have them try it,
Okay.
right? You definitely go through first couple weeks of, hey, like this is new. We're gonna try it, see if it catches on, and if it doesn't, the really good shot and discus throwers that you can get out of high school,
Yeah.
it might not be worth your time trying to train the hammer and the weight because you got two other events that are
Right.
taking up a lot of time that they're probably going to be good at. Now you do get those guys that are crazy in the shot, like the Ole Miss kid, Tarek. Yeah, 21-meter shot putter, 23 in the weight, 72 in the hammer.
Yeah, yeah.
Like those aren't everyday
Right.
stats.
No,
Those
no, those
you
are monstrous.
can't go to every state and find one of those.
Yeah.
Yeah, you'd like to, but
Yeah.
Absolutely. It'd be nice, right? If you can get them.
also for these teams to afford that, I don't know.
Hey, listen, they somehow
That's
do what they could do,
Well,
right?
listen, that's why they would love
NIL
getting.
has changed.
Yeah.
NIL has changed that whole thing.
Oh,
Oh,
yeah. I was just
Now,
looking at it today. Nico Young just got money in IL. And so if he wants to stay at Northern Arizona and run, he can. He got money from Adidas, but if he doesn't want to, which I think he's planning on leaving, he has a sponsor. It's crazy how
I
this
don't
whole
know.
thing
What's
works.
the motivation to go pro? Like, honestly, like if you're a runner and you're getting NIL money right now, and that's guaranteed money to just
Well,
be in college and exist and compete, why
yeah,
go pro?
because you can create your own schedule. You're not bound to go to meets because your team's going, so
You
you
think
can
Nico
train
Young's
more.
bound to race at any meet that he doesn't want to race at right now?
No, but I'm talking about like in general, like
Yeah,
you
have to
can
go to
control where
class.
you go. Like you're not like I have to run 3 events at this meet for team. Like you're your own person. You
I
train for
guess.
yourself.
I think in college, if you get that NIL money, you can kind of do whatever the hell you want. You become the golden goose of your campus.
Well, I mean, like
And the track team especially.
listen, Caitlin Clark
You gotta
turned
go to
down.
class.
Yeah, I mean, someone like
You have to go to class.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, in the class, like,
That's
but
my
like someone
least
like
favorite thing about college.
Yeah.
I mean, look at like Caitlin Clark in basketball. She's turned down money to go pro. She would
Which
have
is-
made more NIL than she
is
is going to
ridiculous.
WNBA, which
Which is a nonsense decision. Her dad needed to yell at her, not for talking trash, but for not taking that NIL deal to
Yeah.
not go and make like 400, not even like $40,000 in WNBA. But I digress.
When she still keep these sponsors she's got?
I mean,
I mean,
look at sponsorship as
I think she just wants to say that she's pro. I get that,
yeah, and everybody does.
yeah,
Right.
and
That's
Caitlin-
the
and that's the
dream.
thing.
That's the goal.
I guarantee Caitlin
know?
Clark, people already came to her and said, "Yeah, go become a pro, and we'll pay you X as a sponsor."
She'll make money. Yeah,
She'll be fine there with
Well,
sponsorship.
I wouldn't doubt that Nike would be like, "Hey, here you go."
I mean, the Sabrina shoes are doing really well. Sabrina Ionescu's. They're some of the biggest basketball shoes. Caitlin Clark could definitely get some Steph Curry treatment.
Oh,
So,
for sure.
But anyway, but the point is that we're talking about all these people in college who aren't even
Yeah.
pro yet, and they're already set. Meanwhile, we have these amazing athletes in our sport
yes.
who get screwed over because it's just so frustrating.
So we're gonna fix that. We're gonna fix that one
Let's
show
hope.
at a time, and we are gonna keep knocking on the door and making sure people hear it. So Tanner, before I let you go and help your lovely wife and your daughter, we're gonna ask you the question that we ask all of our guests. And Dave, we're not gonna give him any hints. You love to try and give hints. We're not.
All right.
Not doing that this time. But so we've talked a lot about what you're doing, how hard of a grind it is for you. If you could have a magic wand, and if you could make a change to the sport of track and field in order to attract the casual fans, to get you guys, pro athletes, paid the way you should as professional athletes, what would you change? Or add or do or etc. I know it's a loaded question. It's a lot.
Okay, I think it's a one-party question. You said how would you get fans to pay attention to our sport?
Casual fans, like
Casual
people
fan.
who don't know really much about it. How do we get them hooked?
You aren't going to find it on Peacock or paying for freaking running and things
Well,
like
that's the
that.
Well, it's
problem.
like-
yeah.
Okay, so I'm not a basketball fan, but I'll watch March Madness, right?
Right.
I think same thing as like track during the Olympics. Like people might not be a track fan, but they'll watch the Olympics.
100%.
Now, and many people have probably said this, they need to get the normal average person, like they give them like a month or something. They just do like a draft. You get like called out of the office, be like, "Oh, you're selected. You got to go compete against these athletes in the Olympics."
awesome.
And they're like
the pros versus Joes type of thing.
so you could show how hard this shit actually is. Right. And I think, yeah, Pros versus Joes. That's a great show. I remember that.
It was great.
And they need to bring it back.
So we
I'd love to
didn't
see-
know.
I'd love to see Derrick Henry, stiff arm some dude named Mark from The Office.
So
Kurt Angle just throwing people around that. Show. It was fantastic.
Exactly.
Listen, Tanner, we had no idea that you and Justin were at K-State together.
I had no idea.
But the thing is, our idea that Dave and I both gave to Justin is, and I think he should take it, and you guys should walk around town filming each other, just grabbing things out of people's hands and freaking launching it. And just throwing it far and just throw it on TikTok, throw it on YouTube, and just be like, and then just like hand them like a shot put and be like, we just threw your thing that far. This is what we throw. And we throw
Or challenge people to a shot put throw off, and put it on
yeah, go
social
find
media.
some like Brocky dudes over on go to like a beach site.
K-State
and
football
bring-
team and just house them. Just
Oh yeah,
rip
or
them.
just no. The thing is, like,
we should just go to the football practice or the basketball practice and be like, "Hey, try this one."
Yeah.
I
You do
think that
this
would
one,
be
we'll do.
great.
You do this one, we'll do yours,
But
and
yeah.
then I'm not going to do theirs because I can't shoot a basketball. So
but it's we do need things like that to create buzz more than every 4 years.
That would be great social
Yeah.
media. Actually,
It would be.
present that to your team because that would be awesome. Just have your team go to K-State, which is K-State football, K-State basketball, big time programs. Go to them and do like, that'll be a social media thing, like talk to the social media people and just sit there and be like, this is what we want to make our hype thing, and just have them go up to them and like give them the rubber shot put and be like, here, the biggest one, like get like your centers and power forwards and be like, here, throw it. Let's see how far you could do it, and then we'll do it. And then just have them each like try it and show and like put that on social media. And for football, same thing. Or have like some of your sprinters go up and be like, all right, you DB, you run a 4.4. I run a 4.2. Let's just test this. Like,
yeah,
I think that would be fun and that would be good like press. And I feel like that would make waves if K-State went and did it, and then you could inspire like, some of these SEC schools to go and just torch their freaking teams. That'd be great too.
but again, like it's a shame that has to be. That's what bothers me. But we know. But like when you see people making so much money from just being on social media, why not? Like I was at the American Dreams Mall this weekend, and my daughters want to go to Mr. Beast Burgers. I mean, that guy's $1 million just for making YouTube videos, But it's like
he gives away a lot of money too.
He does. No, he's a generous dude. Yeah,
he every video he makes cost him over $1 million. So when he makes like 2 million, he only made one. Like again, it's $1 million, but he puts out a ton of money in order.
He does, and he gives out money to people too. But
my ultimate goal, I just want to see Tanner and Jordan go take people's like cell phones and launch them.
That'd be funny, yeah.
While they're
I keep calling Justin Jordan. Justin, come fight me. You could beat me up. I keep calling him Jordan. Sorry, Justin.
Well, I mean, one thing that's going to make it, I feel like, a little more popular. You said the every 4 years thing, right? But now that they announced that every season is going to end at a world championship,
that's great. It's not every other year.
Right? That's huge.
That is.
I was talking with my wife about it because she's like, after the Olympics, like, what are we going to do? Are we going to stay here? Are we going to go home? Well, you have 4 years to the next one. And so, well, yes, the Olympics is the dream, but making a world team and a world championship is also
for anybody who's not like people not in track, put the Olympics here, worlds here. But for the people who are actually competing, world championships is almost right there. I mean, Olympics is the Olympics, but that's right there. And I'm so glad that they're having it every year. And I think we can get momentum because of COVID, we had Olympics, Worlds, and now we're having Olympics again. And then we'll have World. So like we're having 3 straight years of where it ends in a championship. Yeah. Whereas those past years when there wasn't Worlds or there wasn't Olympics, it was this weird thing. Like there was no end. People just kind of hung on and ran or threw in whatever meat that they wanted. Now there's like a definitive end. I mean, you'll have a few diamond leagues after Worlds, but I mean, that's where everyone goes to. And having it last year in the States was huge. The numbers were huge.
Yeah. So like there's that. I don't know if you guys seen, they just announced, like NFL Red Zone. They're doing a version of that for the Olympics, which is going to be great. Even when like
so they're going to go from each sport whenever something good's happening.
That's awesome. So like that'd be pretty sweet. But so when the World Championships were in Eugene, right? You've seen like the celebrities there, like Travis Scott was there, and like some other celebrities like that, and they're like
RG3 and Emmanuel Acho were locked in big.
RG3 does a great job.
The track,
he's doing great with that.
Well, he was at the NCAA's last year, and it just him there, and he was all pumped. He was tweeting about it, and that's what we need too, is more people, because people don't know if they know he was a great 40-meter hurdler. Like he was really good.
He wouldn't have been up there. He would have been with like battling with Grant Holloway and stuff like that. He was an Olympic.
Well, he was more 400 hurdler.
But he was Olympic level in both.
He was good.
Yeah.
But I mean, again, if you are great in both and you have a chance to go NFL or go pro track,
no-brainer.
You're going to go pro. Yeah, I mean, you're going to go NFL.
Okay, even if you went to the NFL and sat on a practice squad, you're going to make more money than track.
200. I checked that today. I was talking to my fiance because I'm like, I want these guys to get paid so much. I'm like, if you're on the practice squad, you make $216,000 for an 18-game season.
Yeah.
And here's the thing:
like $12,000 a week to not even play.
They're not even playing a game.
And the thing is, like,
we're not even on the team.
I'm at a friggin' U.S.
They don't even dress.
Championship meet.
I know, it's
competing in it.
And Dave and I
racing in it.
It's not like I was just an alternate,
No, you were there.
You were third in this indoor worlds, right?
Yeah.
I mean, U.S. Nationals.
Yeah, third. Yeah.
Yeah, third. I mean,
And and Dave and I
third in the
talked
country.
through, and we need to start bringing back like the value of like the NACAC, the Pan Am, the Hispanic games. Like those are big wins if you're in the track world, right? You could say you're the NACAC champion, the Pan Am champion, the Hispanic Games champion. Like that's huge. But like again, nobody knows. Nobody like unless you're in that track world, it's not, and it should be made a bigger deal. Now I'm curious that third year of worlds heading into Olympics. I feel like that could be an opportunity for a lot of people, right? Because I feel like some of the athletes might lay a little low in that world. I think that's going to be an awesome opportunity to see some new
Next
blood.
year.
Yeah, it might be. Yeah, it might be an opportunity to see some new blood, and maybe the worlds after Olympics. Like I think there might
people
be
kind of
like
That's what I
taking
think.
it.
The year after.
Yeah, because you're gonna have like Olympics, Worlds, Olympics. Next year's Worlds might be like, all right, like I need a break, and then it's time for some of you
or
guys
is
to
Noah
step
Lyles
up and
is going to
shine.
be like, everyone go to hell. I'm going to win every single one. Like, and I think that'll be great if you have certain athletes that are like do lay low, but then you have your Jakob Ingebrigtsens, you have your
Ryan Krauser,
your Tanner Bergs who go and wins a hammer championship and decides I want to defend it. Like,
you know, the other thing too is is getting the field events and the throw events to be shown on TV. Like
per channel, give us
they will show it. No, like all right, yes, we understand why they're showing the shot put. Ryan Krauser is an absolute monster. I get it, but show the other events. Give the they are so selective on what they show, and then even that like they'll show one throw of the whole competition.
Yeah,
Ryan Krauser throws 75 feet. Okay, well, how did everyone else throw? I don't know.
I remember watching this was last year, 2 years ago. The Milrose games was on like Peacock or whatever.
Yep.
And they showed like the warm ups of shot put, and they're like, okay, let's go over to the 3,000 meter race walk or whatever. And I'm just like, who the fuck wants to watch that? Show the last 2 laps of that. That's where
this is Ryan Krauser here. Like this is the greatest thrower that we've ever seen. Like
this
let's
is
watch
the greatest shot putter that's ever lived
in his prime.
In his prime. And you guys are like, oh, well, fuck it. Let's watch some 120-pound dudes race walk around a track. Some people live for that.
Yeah, no,
it isn't me. But.
Well, the problem with track too is that there's so many things going on at once. It's not like you're putting a football game on TV or a basketball game where everything is focused on that one spot. There's so many things, but like, don't we have multi-view for a reason? Like, are people that mad if they have to watch something smaller?
YouTube TV has you can watch like 4 different football games.
Everything does. So like, are people that hard up where they have to watch it on a big like? I mean, people have their big TVs now. A quarter of the screen is still as big of a TV as I had growing up.
Yeah.
And it's still clear, you know.
And here's the last thing, Tanner. I do want to let you go soon because you have your family and everything. But here's the last
they're
thing.
asleep. She's asleep now. So.
Oh, nice. So you're free. But
if you want.
Here's the last thing that I want to figure out. And I tweeted about it from the Talking Novels account. Why in the hell is Sydney McLaughlin's account temporarily restricted?
I don't know.
What the hell's going on X?
Maybe she got hacked.
I don't know. If you click on it, you click yes, view profile. It's normal.
Ask Elon. I don't know.
It's just right here. But when you go out and go back to it, no, let's go. No, I don't want any horse. Get the hell out of here, horse.
Oh man, that's great. How's that possible?
You go to Sid. Why is she temporarily restricted? Like,
I don't know.
We get this. If anybody knows why, can we find out? Because she's just like Sydney does nothing wrong. As far as I know, the woman does nothing wrong. She's been a great role model for the sport. She's arguably the most famous athlete outside of Noah Lyles.
Just be some sort of technical glitch.
I don't know. It's been this way for a little while now, so I'm curious.
Maybe she just said
switching over to the normal 400 now.
I don't know. Well, I mean, she better because Femke Bowles kicking her ass in terms of.
No, she's not.
Femke is getting up. Femke is the world record holder in the 400
indoors.
That doesn't matter. Listen, and Femke's racing, and Sydney isn't.
I love Femke, but she ain't Sydney.
So the funny thing about Femke, someone put on Reels that if you just close your eyes and listen to Femke talk, it sounds like Mickey Mouse, and it is actually hilarious because she kind of does. Sorry, Femke, I don't want to offend you, but
she's great. Sydney was. I mean, she's the 400-meter hurdle record, right?
By a lot.
By a lot. Like, I mean, it was like every meet she was.
She ran 50.6 for the 400 hurdles, which is
I was kind of wondering if she get paid to break the record every meet, so she just
I'm sure.
beats
Listen,
a
she is
every time.
She is doing well with New Balance. She's not hurting.
Yeah, no, she's certainly not. But I mean, Dave is confident that she's going to come in and kick Femke's ass. Femke's been racing.
If she's
Femke
healthy and they're both healthy, I don't.
400, and she's been doing better.
But she still is not in the same league of times running all these races. Or Sid's like, I don't have to run. I'm still going to come out and pop a 48. Or listen. I love Femke's strategy better, and the fact that she actually races is great for the sport. But
I'm rooting for better. She's American, but I root so much for people that compete. Look, I'm sorry, people that are there. I root for them. So, Tanner, thank you so much for coming on, man. This was lots of fun.
Awesome.
Thanks for having me, guys.
And good luck with the baby. It's a fun journey that I'm sure you will learn more and more every day as you go on. And all we wish is that you guys get your due, your respect, and you get paid, because what you're doing now is amazing. But as you said, and you and your wife, you talked about it, you're not sure how sustainable living like this could be long term.
Yeah.
So let's hope that something changes. Maybe there's Michael Johnson League, or there's other leagues that will pop up, and that you guys get a chance to get rewarded for all the hard work and dedication that you guys have for the sport. It's people like you who keep this sport thriving, because you guys compete well, place well, but you also push those other athletes to work hard and to keep going. So I just wish you nothing but the absolute best.
Thank you.
So definitely go give TJ a follow. If you're on X, I'll throw it up there. It's at TJBerg99. And if you want to follow him on Instagram, it is, look at how fancy we are, at Berg Throws. So there you go. You can go follow on either of those. If you would like to follow us on X, you can go on at Talking in Ovals, but you could just go type that in on any social media and you'll find us there. Thank you for everyone that watched today. If you watch at X, still time, repost. Let everybody know that you're watching it. So then even if when this goes down, they can watch it again later. And if you're on YouTube, smash that like button, subscribe, spread this word of mouth. We will continue the Trackstar.me Olympic Dream Series next week. We're going to talk to more awesome athletes. And Tanner, we've told this to everyone else. We're telling it to you. You've gained 2 fans. We are 100% supporting you now. I mean, we're just going to pretend that whoever throws further between you and Justin will just, kind of, just kidding there.
That's the thing is, when we go to meets together, I want him to throw fire. I don't want him to throw further than me. So.
Hey, listen, you want to get first and second. You first and him second.
I'm sure he'd say the same thing.
Of course.
Just promise me no Tanya Harding, Nancy Kerrigan. Okay, none of that going on between the two of you. No paying significant others for crowbars.
No worries. I don't do that.
No, but listen, I'm going to be locked in on the hammer.
Yeah, hell yeah.
And the jab. Having all these wonderful guests on has really made me want to, because I was kind of like a little bit of a running snob. Those field events are great. I'll watch them if they're on. But
it's hard not to be. It's hard not to be because they don't.
Because that's all that they show, right?
It's hard.
But I would go watch the shot putters. When I was coaching for a while, we had a story here in Jersey named Nick Vina, who threw 75 feet in high school.
Yeah,
I was just throwing Jordan Geis was on. Jordan Geis threw 76 feet in high school. That's insane.
Yeah, monsters out there. So we appreciate you coming on. We wish you all the luck. We hope that it's you and Justin representing in the hammer, right? We want to see you guys in there. Any of our past guests,
Jordan in the shot.
We just want to see you guys out there succeeding and, living your dreams. And again, put it on the screen one more time, Give, Send, Go. Go on to that Give, Send, Go, give some money and help these individuals live their dreams and live like pros. Damn it. That's all we want to do. All right, everyone. So we thank you so much for watching. We will be back next week. So long.